So we were doing esters, and in esters we had learned how to construct esters, right? Okay, there was a carboxylic acid reacting with an alcohol, and they would the two functional groups would react with each other. ठीक है, बीच में से OH और H वो निकल जाता था. They would react, and the water would get removed from the middle, and this oxygen over here will go and join with this carbon over here. ठीक है, the two will join up. So that's how all these esters were formed. Alcohol, carboxylic acid, OH and H removed. The oxygen will join with the carbon. ठीक है, they'll link up, and that's how all these esters were formed, and we learned about naming esters. ठीक है, so how were you see? Achha, so how were esters named? You had, so if I draw any other ester, for example, so if there's an ester with, the ester has a double bond O and O in the middle. Let's say this is my ester, and these are all the H atoms. This one will have 3, that's CH3. This is going to be CH2. This one is going to be CH2, and this is CH3. So I told you that esters were named in two parts. You had you had two sides. This side has one carbon atom, so that's going to be called meth, and this side has 4 carbon atoms. 4 carbon atoms would be called bute. And the single O side, the side which has this single oxygen over here, that side will be called vial, and the double bond O side will be called O8. So the name of this molecule is going to be methyl butanoate. You put the two things together, and that's the name of the ester. Okay, remember all esters have have this functional group, which is, that's your ester link. Okay, let's do another one. For example, if I have you'll just be asked to name simple esters. So here's another one. You've got an ester. Okay, this is your ester. So same thing. How would you name this? It's going to be named in two parts. This side has 2 carbon atoms, so it's going to be called Eth. This side, the left side also has 2 carbon atoms, so that's also going to be called Eth. The single O side is going to be referred to as vial, so that's vial, and the double bond O side will be referred to as OAT. So the name of the molecule will be ethyl. You put the two together, it's going to be called ethyl ethanoate. Okay, is this clear?
Yes, sir.
और इसका ना जो condense formula, ठीक है, you can write it in a condensed way as well. So this is what, CH3. Then what do you have? You have CO. Then you have another O. Then you have CH2. And then you have, ठीक है, remember condensed formulas are more confusing. ठीक है, so make sure that even if you're given condensed formulas, make sure you open it up, so it's easier to deal with the displayed formulas. ठीक है, so that's how esters are going to be named. ठीक है, esters, remember, are very important because you get a lot of questions on esters. Next thing is we're going to break esters. That is referred to as hydrolysis of esters. So it's referred to as hydrolysis. Hydrolysis means it's a decomposition by water. ठीक है, इसका मतलब है कि you're breaking it down ठीक है, hydro means water and lysis means decomposition. So you're breaking the ester. So it's the reverse. It's the exact reverse. So if I have any ester like CH3, CH2, and I have a C double bond O and O, and then I have a CH3. अच्छा इसका नाम क्या होगा? This is going. What is the name of this ester, by the way? Anyone, Dua, Mayim, any idea what the name of this ester is? एक second. Mayim, any idea? Can name it in two parts. गलत जगह से ester link. This is your meth. एक carbon atom, one carbon atom का क्या नाम होता है? That's meth. और ये वाली side क्या है? That's prop. Three carbon atoms. So single O side, that's vial, and this is going to be called OH. अच्छा, but anyways, तो ester को break down करना है, ठीक है? What is going to happen is when you try to break down an ester, it breaks down and produces the same exact molecules that made it. So it will split. ये एक side होगी, ठीक है? So let me copy that. उसको paste कर लेते हैं, ठीक है? So the ester breaks. So that's one side, and the other side is this one. अच्छा, ये दो parts हो गए. ये वाला side जो है ना, that's उधर OH वापस लगा दो. It will turn back into a carboxylic acid, and this side will turn back into an alcohol. You'll get your carboxylic acid, and you'll get your alcohol. वो वापस आ जाएंगे. लेकिन उसके लिए क्या करना पड़ेगा? वाटर ऐड करना पड़ेगा. You have to add water to it. ठीक है, तो प्लस H2O. It's going to get decomposed by adding water. ठीक है, is this clear?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
और इसकी conditions होंगी. It's going to be the two hydrolysis. There's acid hydrolysis, which is कि आपने ना कोई भी dilute acid use करो plus reflux या heat with reflux, ठीक है? और second जो है, you can also use alkaline hydrolysis like NaOH, ठीक है? तो उसमें क्या करना है? dilute alkali plus heat या reflux, ठीक है? तो there are two types of hydrolysis: acid hydrolysis and alkaline hydrolysis. तो alkaline hydrolysis में ना, remember एक मसला होता है कि alkaline hydrolysis में ना, when you add an alkali, for example you add like you add NaOH, तो होगा ये कि alkaline hydrolysis में you'll have a further reaction कि you won't get carboxylic acid. What you're going to get is you're going to get a salt of the carboxylic acid. So in alkaline hydrolysis, the carboxylic acid reacts with the alkali. So carboxylic acid जो है ना reacts with alkali, ठीक है? तो to produce a salt. And that salt is known as saponification as well. बेसिकली सोप्स होते हैं ये, ठीक है। I mean that's how soaps are actually produced. Okay. Ester links, fat molecules वगैरह के अंदर ना ester links होते हैं, you break them down under alkaline conditions. So what you're going to get is, you're not going to get the above thing. You're going to get a salt of the carboxylic acid. ये हमने reactions किए थे कि नहीं किए थे acids के? ये सारे हमने reactions किए थे ना acid के, right? कि और acids they produce, जितने भी acids थे ना, they would produce a salt. ठीक है, जितने भी acids हमने किए थे ना, they were all producing salts. वो जो carboxylic acid होता था, उसका जो ये end वाला H होता था ना, this is the one that will lose that H. So you had 4-5 reactions with metals. Metals के साथ क्या होता था कि वो जो H lose होता था, it would get replaced by Mg. Metal plus acid produces salt plus H2. Base के साथ भी वही होता था कि you have magnesium oxide with or sodium oxide with a carboxylic acid. The H will be lost and it will form a salt. तो वो जितने भी reactions थे ना acids के, जब आप इसको break down करते हो ना esters को, तो remember this कि you're going to get the carboxylic acid and alcohol back, but under alkaline conditions only. This is only true for alkaline conditions. Uh, you get soaps. You don't get the carboxylic acid. You get the salt of the carboxylic acid. ठीक है, clear है?
Yes. Yes, sir.
तो बस ये that's it. ठीक है, that's what esters is. You can make them, you can decompose them. Reverse इसका कि वापस मतलब आप उसको form कर सकते हो, carboxylic acid alcohol reacting to form the ester, and you can break it back. ठीक है, dilute acid, dilute alkali से you will get the carboxylic acid and the alcohol back. Except कि alkaline conditions में you're not going to get the carboxylic acid back, you're going to get a salt of the carboxylic acid. ठीक है, अच्छा अब तो ये खत्म हो गया हमारा carboxylic acid. We are done with carboxylic acid. ठीक है, और esters भी हो गए. बाकी हम past papers practice करेंगे, उसके अंदर we'll come back to this. Now the next thing is the बिल्कुल last part है. अच्छा that's also very very important. ठीक है, you get a lot of stuff on that. तो जो बिल्कुल last part है, that's condensation polymers. So remember we did polymers, ठीक है, early on as well. अच्छा, condensation polymers. Now polymers आपको idea होगा कि you join a lot of small molecules and what happens is you get a very long chain. ठीक है, छोटे छोटे molecules जो है ना, वो सारे add up होते हैं. अच्छा, बहुत सारे छोटे छोटे molecules वो add up होते हैं, and when they add up they form a very long chain. ठीक है, that's what a polymer is. It's a macromolecule. वो सारा हम कर चुके हैं, but we did addition polymers. अगर हम एडिशन पॉलिमर्स पे वापस जाए ना, कहाँ पे थे एडिशन पॉलिमर्स? बिल्कुल शुरू में थे. ये कौन सा चल रहा है? हाँ, एल्कीन्स में ही थे ये वाला पार्ट, कि लॉट्स ऑफ स्मॉल मॉलिक्यूल्स जॉइनिंग अप टू फॉर्म दिस वेरी लॉन्ग चेन. तो एडिशन पॉलिमर्स में था कि फॉर एग्जांपल इथीन के मॉलिक्यूल्स हैं, they all line up and under high pressures, high temperatures, they would all the double bonds would all go away and they will react. Double bond reactive होता था, वो एक दूसरे के साथ रिएक्ट करते थे, and instead of forming double bonds they would start bonding with each other. ठीक है, they would form linkages. ठीक है, and that's how polymers were formed. प्रोटीन का भी यही था कि वो डबल बॉन्ड होता था, तो आप पहले इसको डिफरेंट तरीके से ड्रॉ करते थे. आप क्या करते थे कि अच्छा, आप क्या करते हैं, डबल बॉन्ड में से सी मतलब उसकी राइट साइड और लेफ्ट साइड जो है ना, यू ओपन दैट आप, ठीक है। वो एच को नीचे की तरफ कर देते, the CH3 was pulled downwards, right? And then you did the same thing. You would line them up, and the double bonds would react with each other, and they would form these linkages, and they'll form these long chains. ठीक है? तो condensation polymers are kind of something similar, ठीक है? Except कि वो different इसलिए कि they're formed from different monomers. They're not formed from the same monomers. और इसमें ना three types होंगे. Condensation जो word है ना, that means कि water is going to be produced. So there's a byproduct that's going to be produced. Addition में byproduct produced ही होता था. So there's a small molecule byproduct. इकट्ठा होता है byproduct, एक सेकेंड. अच्छा, there's a byproduct produced. और इधर मैं लिख भी देता हूँ, in addition polymers no byproduct is produced, ठीक है. You need to know the difference as well because they're going to ask you about the difference. Addition में बस वो आपस में जुड़ जाते थे. Nothing new was produced, ठीक है. It was just molecules connecting. I said no byproducts produced. Now the next thing is के the first one. We'll start off with polyester, ठीक है. That's the first polymer, condensation polymer. अच्छा, polyesters have a linkage which is called obviously called the ester linkage, ठीक है. So वो हम बाद में शो करते हैं. Examples of polyesters is कि polyesters are used in, there's an example that's known as terylene. So it's used as your clothes are made out of terylene, ठीक है. या आपके कपड़े जितने भी होते हैं ना, they're mostly synthetic, sweaters वगैरह etc. People have stopped uh, making things out of natural substances. तो आपके जितने भी कपड़े होते हैं, they're not made out of wool or they're not made out of cotton. They're mostly made out of polyester, ठीक है. Or they're made out of a mix of polyester with cotton. लेकिन अब cotton और उसके कपड़े जो है ना, they daily use. Most of the stuff is made out of polyester. तो polyester is your fabric, ठीक है, for clothing. Second, एक और है कि natural में ना fat molecules are kind of a polyester, ठीक है. Fat molecules are not, I mean, they're not really polyesters, but they molecules जो है ना, they have ester linkages. तो natural के अंदर ना, you've got fat molecules, ठीक है. अच्छा, so the monomers of a polyester, there'll be two monomers. There's going to be monomer one. Monomer one is going to be a molecule. ये जो box है ना, that just shows any random molecule, ठीक है. तो एक molecule होगा जिसके दोनों sides पे ना, you'll have OH groups. That's monomer one. And then you're going to have monomer two. There's going to be a second monomer, a second molecule that's going to make it. वो क्या होगा कि वो एक और molecule होगा और उसके दोनों sides पे ना, it's going to have carboxylic acid groups. Mix भी हो सकता. So one of them is going to be a diol. Diol का मतलब है दो alcohols, ठीक है. The other one would be a dicarboxylic acid. ठीक है. The box in the middle could be anything, ठीक है. The box it represents a molecule. वो मतलब the box, think of the box as a bunch of carbon atoms. मतलब कुछ भी हो सकता है, ठीक है. अच्छा, ये सारे आपस में ना लिंक अप करेंगे. So I'm going to take these and I'm going to start connecting them together. ठीक है. इसको थोड़ा सा छोटा कर लेते हैं. अच्छा, so I've got monomer one, I've got monomer two. One of them dicarboxylic acid, the other one. अच्छा तो इस तरह के ना there'll be thousands of monomers और ये आपको ना वो ड्रॉ करने को इसी तरह कहेगा. अच्छा so you'll have thousands of them. I'm just drawing 4 of them. Alternatingly repeat हो रहे हैं. अच्छा नीचे मैं इनको ना कनेक्ट करना शुरू करता हूँ. अच्छा so how would they connect? The way they're going to connect is कि ester links. Remember we did esters. So how would they connect? इसका OH रिमूव हो जाएगा और इसका H. मैं इधर शो कर देता हूँ. इधर OH इसका H. ऊपर OH और H बीच में से रिमूव हुआ जा रहा है. ठीक है. कंडेंसेशन इज हैपनिंग. OH and H just like how esters were formed. ये OH आगे किसी के साथ ये H इधर से. So all of them are going to lose their H and OH too, and they'll form water molecules. ये क्लियर है?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
अच्छा and they will start joining up. ये जाके ना उसके साथ जुड़ गया. ठीक है. ये वाला this will connect with this one. This one will connect with this one. So they're now interlinking with each other. ठीक है. And this continues. इसको मतलब further आगे draw कर लेते हैं कि um, ये आगे फिर से अटैच हुआ है. ठीक है. And so on. ये बीच में ये चीज दोबारा इसको थोड़ा सा एक्सटेंड कर रहा हूँ. So that's kind of what your polyester is. ठीक है. बॉक्स को इग्नोर करो. बॉक्स could be anything. ठीक है. उसको बस हमने वो बीच वाला पार्ट ना गायब कर दिया. ठीक है. I've just hidden it with a box because I don't want to draw it. So that's how your polyester is, and these are all your ester links. It's going to have multiple ester links. ठीक है. So which is why it's called a polyester. तो ये क्लियर है. आपको बहुत ज्यादा इसमें डिटेल में जाने की जरूरत नहीं है. This is what you're going to be asked to. You're going to be asked to draw this, and mostly you're just going to be asked to draw this. That's it. Clear है. Polyester हो गया. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
So just a query. In case you're asked to draw them, so you draw them like this only in the box, or you're supposed to?
You draw them. What is your question?
If they ask you to represent it or draw them, so you can draw them with the center, the box representing any molecule, or you will have to draw the full. Uh,
I mean, you can draw
Okay.
the boxes. So
Okay.
very rarely. I've mostly it's just this. Mostly it's just this.
Okay.
But very rarely they might actually give you, instead of the box, they might actually give you an actual molecule. For example, they might give you a molecule which is so instead of the box they've written CH2 over there, right?
Okay.
And they've given you a molecule that's got 2 carboxylic acid groups.
Mm-hmm.
So now there is no box over here, but it's the same thing, right?
Then you'll have to draw this.
हाँ तो फिर in this case now you have to draw it without the box.
I got it. Thank you.
ठीक है. बस इसको कर लेते हैं कि I'll just draw this quickly. Same thing happens. ठीक है. The box was just there to hide the middle part.
Thank you.
So the OH and H are removed. OH and H are removed. H इधर, OH यहाँ से, OH and H, right? So you just get rid of the water in the middle. And once you get rid of the water, उसको रब कर देते हैं. ठीक है. So this is your H gone, OH gone. ठीक है, so this is how it's going to look. I mean, I did the same thing exactly.
Yes, sir.
और इसमें भी ester links हैं, ठीक है. I mean, you can, I mean, there's no box, but you can see the ester links. मैं उसको highlight कर देता हूँ. So that's ester link. Then that's connected to the other one. Then you've got an ester link. फिर वो आगे चल रहा है. This is, so the ester links are still there. ठीक है, is this clear?
Right, sir. Yes, thank you.
So next one. Next one है कि that's a polyamide. अच्छा, polyamides के ना दो types हैं. There's a natural polyamide and there's a synthetic polyamide. So polyamides, अच्छा, the first one is your natural polyamide. नहीं, synthetic. Synthetic में ना जो number one है that's nylon और Kevlar, ठीक है, bulletproof vest वगैरह. तो nylon is used for fishing nets. Ropes वगैरह, ठीक है, so nylon is used for that. uh, बाकी कौन सा है एक, this Kevlar. Kevlar जो है वो that's used for बैटमैन का सूट था, that was made out of Kevlar. It's a bulletproof jackets वगैरह, ठीक है.
Parachutes,
हाँ, ठीक है.
sleeping
It's a,
bags,
हाँ, so it's a very very tough substance, ठीक है. तो ड्यूरेबल होता है, ठीक है, बल्कि इंडस्ट्रियल लेवल के ऊपर वो ट्रक्स के ऊपर भी जो कवर किया होता है, बल्कि वही वाटर प्रूफ जितना भी स्टफ होगा ना, दैट्स गोइंग टू बी कवर्ड इन केवलर, ठीक है. या आपके कार, जो अच्छा क्वालिटी कार का जो वो होता है ना कवर, दैट्स दैट्स समटाइम्स मेड आउट ऑफ केवलर एज वेल, और हैज सम केवलर इन इट. अच्छा, एनीवे, सो सिंथेटिक, ठीक है. अब हाउ इज पॉलीएमाइड्स मेड? तो पॉलीएमाइड्स जो होते हैं, दे मेड आउट ऑफ टू मोनोमर्स. One of them is a diamine, यानी उसका एक मॉलिक्यूल होगा, it's going to have NH2. ये NH2, that's an amine. Organic chemistry में ammonia से निकले, ठीक है. So if it has a carbon chain, so it's something similar to ammonia, but it's called an amine, ठीक है. So that's diamine, and the other one is going to be a dicarboxylic acid. होगा वही जो पिछले वाले में हुआ है. So the other one is dicarboxylic. Now exactly the same thing happens. ये दोनों मोनोमर्स जो है ना, ये रिपीट होंगे thousands of times. So they're going to repeat. So hundreds and thousands of them. हम भी एक्चुअली ना यही है, मतलब हमारा जो, मतलब most animals and all our muscle fibers, etc., most of the stuff, our hair, etc., we are kind of like a polyamide, ठीक है. वो भी हम natural पे आते हैं, ठीक है. Now the same thing happens. The H and OH will remove, the OH and H will remove, water will get removed, and they'll all of them, they will link up. तो ये सारे के सारे ना, they will start joining with each other. तो आप बीच में से इसको रिमूव कर दो, ठीक है. OH is gone, OH is gone, OH, H is gone. And you will have all of them linking up. ठीक है, सिर्फ वाटर रिमूव करना है. इसका एक सेकंड, ये मैं हटा दूं. तो बीच में से वाटर गायब हो गया, और ये सारे के सारे आपस में आपस में लिंक अप होना शुरू हो गए, ठीक है. सो दिस इज गॉन, ऑल ऑफ दिस इज गॉन. So that's it, ठीक है. And it's going to continue, ठीक है. It's going to endlessly continue hundreds and thousands of times. Uh, and they all have amide linkage. This thing is known as an amide link. Amide link क्या होता है? It's a acetyl bond O attached to an NH. ठीक है, that's what an amide link is. So you've got plenty of amide links. You've got an amide link over here. ये सारे acetyl bond O, NH, acetyl bond O, NH, ठीक है. So they're all amide links. And that's what your polyamide is. तो polyamide draw करने का you're going to draw this with or without boxes. Boxes की जगह ना वो कुछ भी दे सकता है, ठीक है. There could be something else over here. वो आपने you just have to draw it the same way. तो ये clear है polyamide?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
अब आ जाते हैं natural polyamides, ठीक है. वो हम है basically. Proteins basically. So natural polyamides, that's proteins. Now, the basic building block of pretty much all living organisms, जो basic building block है ना, जो monomer है, हमारे जितने भी cells, skin, our hair, ठीक है, everything, red blood cells, every structure in our body, ठीक है. The basic building block, ठीक है, जैसा घर बनता है ना, it's made out of bricks, ठीक है. So we are made out of a monomer which is amino acid. So the monomer is, अच्छा एक तो ये difference हो गया. There's a monomer and that's known as amino acid. अच्छा, that monomer is basically well, it's a molecule जिसके पास दोनों होंगे. It's going to have the carboxylic acid group, and it's also going to have the amine group. तो इसलिए वो amine और acid दोनों ही है, ठीक है. That's why वो पहले था वो diamine था और dicarboxylic acid अलग अलग थे. Now it's one thing. It's amino acid. So remember पहला difference ये है कि the monomer is different. Either there was a molecule that had amines, there was a molecule that had carboxylic acids, there was a molecule that had amines. इधर वो दोनों एक ही चीज में है, ठीक है. तो a human being is made out of kind of like I think 19 to 21 different amino acids. वो हर केस में ना बॉक्स डिफरेंट होता है. बीच में जो स्टफ होता है ना, that is slightly different. They're like 19 to 21 different types of amino acids. But that's a basic building block, ठीक है. You can make very very complex structures out of these 19 to 21. इन्हीं की combination होती है. And you can make different shapes, different structures, different things out of it. तो अच्छा इसमें क्या होगा? Same thing would happen exactly. You'll have your amino acids and all of them would link up उसी तरह करेंगे. So you have one amino acid, you've got another amino acid, एक तीसरा भी बीच में फिट कर देते हैं इसको. अच्छा, and let's say you have a third amino acid. तो वही होगा, OH और H रिमूव हो जाएगा, OH और OH उधर से H वो चली जा रहा है, and all of them they will link up. तो बीच में से OH और ये सारे आपस में they will connect, ठीक है. So they all start connecting with each other. And that's what your polypeptide looks like. अच्छा, इसको ना प्रोटीन या पॉलीपेप्टाइड कहते हैं. Polypeptide is a better word. ये जो amide linkage होती है ना, that these two are exactly the same thing. Biomena, it's called a polypeptide. So this one is your polypeptide. Or you can refer it as your protein as well. At least इस stage पे ना गलत नहीं होगा. Protein और polypeptide में ना थोड़ा सा difference होता है. A protein is way more complex, ठीक है, compared. ये तो बहुत simple सी chain है ना. जो आपका प्रोटीन का मॉलिक्यूल होता है ना, that's made out of many many different chains all combined together, ठीक है, bonded in different, वो थोड़ा सा ज्यादा complex structure होता है, ठीक है. Polypeptide is like the simple strand, जैसा वो हमने नहीं किया था कि बिल्कुल स्टार्ट में कि एक सेकंड बाहर ही निकल गया. मैं खाली वो डिफरेंस बताना चाह रहा हूँ कि व्हाट्स द डिफरेंस बिटवीन पॉलीपेप्टाइड एंड प्रोटीन. दैट काइंड ऑफ द सेम, ठीक है. अच्छा, दे काइंड ऑफ द सेम. जो पॉलीपेप्टाइड होता है ना, दैट इज a single strand. एक single strand जो होता है ना, that's what a polypeptide is. Protein is more complex. It's like many many strands all entangled with each other, ठीक है, bonded to each other, connected with each other, ठीक है. तो protein is made out of many many polypeptide chains. मतलब आइडिया क्लियर है पॉलीपेप्टाइड और प्रोटीन में फर्क क्या है?
Yes, sir.
ठीक है. तो टेक्निकली जो करेक्ट वर्ड है ना, दैट्स पॉलीपेप्टाइड. एंड ये जो एमाइड लिंक है ना बायो के अंदर, इट्स कॉल्ड पेप्टाइड लिंक. चलो ठीक है, वी डन विद प्रोटीन्स. अब मेरे ख्याल से द वेरी लास्ट थिंग, ठीक है. अच्छा, एक तो डिफरेंस आना चाहिए. हाउ डू यू डिफरेंशिएट बिटवीन प्रोटीन एंड नायलॉन? वो देख के पता लगना चाहिए. रिमेंबर, प्रोटीन के अंदर ना और पॉलीपेप्टाइड के अंदर, द बॉक्स ऑन बोथ साइड्स यू गॉट डिफरेंट ग्रुप्स. इधर डबल बॉन्ड हुआ है और यहाँ पे क्या है, NH है, ठीक है बिल्कुल एक जैसा. अगर मैं दोनों को साइडवेज रखूँ ना, बल्कि लिख देते हैं, यू गेट दिस क्वेश्चन अ लॉट. तो डिफरेंस बिटवीन पॉलीपेप्टाइड या प्रोटीन एंड नायलॉन. तो डिफरेंस ये है कि इसको कॉपी कर लें, एक ही हो गया. अच्छा, दोनों को मैं साइडवेज, दिस इज पॉलीपेप्टाइड और नायलॉन उससे पहले बनाया था, दिस इज दिस वन. अच्छा, देख के क्या डिफरेंस पता लग रहा है? कैन यू स्पॉट द डिफरेंस के? मतलब एक चीज जो डिफरेंस नजर आ रही होगी, द लिंकेज इज द सेम. दे बोथ हैव द सेम लिंकेज, सीरियल बॉन्ड और NH. द मेजर डिफरेंस इज कि जो प्रोटीन होगा ना, उसका जो बॉक्स होगा ना, उसके एक साइड पे NH होगा, द अदर साइड हैज सीरियल बॉन्ड हो. While in nylon, the box has serial bond on both sides and it's got NH on both sides. ठीक है, तो वहां पे वो स्विच हुए होते हैं. तो मेक श्योर यू नो हाउ टू स्पॉट द डिफरेंस. तो इसको अगर लिखोगे ना, इफ यू ट्राई टू आंसर, एक तो देख के पता लग जाना चाहिए कि विच वन इज अ प्रोटीन, विच वन इज अ पॉलीएमाइड. ठीक है, पता लग जाएगा. इज दिस क्लियर? वो आपको दोनों ड्रॉ करके दे देगा.
Yes, sir.
ये क्लियर? और सेकंड है कि वो मेजर जो डिफरेंस है ना, लाइक इफ इट्स अ 1 मार्क क्वेश्चन, द मेजर डिफरेंस इज कि प्रोटीन इज मेड आउट ऑफ one monomer और जो आपका नायलॉन है is made out of two monomers, a diamine and a dicarboxylic acid. अच्छा, ये आखिरी भी कंप्लीट कर लेते हैं, which is starch. ठीक है, जो थर्ड है, तो फिर सारा कंप्लीट हो जाएगा. इसका ये याद रखना कि ये जो कंडेंसेशन पॉलीमर्स होते हैं दे आर बायोडिग्रेडेबल. इनका पोल्यूशन का कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं होता. ये जैसा प्रोटीन है ना, मतलब गोश्त को आप रखो, बायो इट डिकम्पोजेस, ठीक है, ऑन इट्स ओन. तो ये जो लिंकेजेस होते हैं ना, दे ब्रेक डाउन वेरी इजीली. तो दे नॉट वेरी स्ट्रॉन्ग. जैसा वो एडिशन पॉलीमर्स में दे वर प्लास्टिक्स वगैरह जो थे, दे वर वेरी हार्ड टू डिकम्पोज. कपड़े वगैरह आपके डिकम्पोज कर सकते हैं. यू डोंट हैव टू डू एनीथिंग. You don't want landfill sites for this. So there's no pollution problem with this. अच्छा, starch होता है, that's a complex starch or complex carbohydrate, ठीक है. Carbohydrate. अच्छा, वो बनता है ग्लूकोज से. Glucose is this thing. It's a molecule and it's got OH on both sides. And that's it. That's the single monomer. और इस तरह के ना ढेर सारे monomers they line up. ठीक है, तो आपका जो complex carbohydrates होते हैं they are also polymers. और सेम चीज, OH और H, वाटर बीच में से निकलता रहता है. And what you're left with is all of them they connect. जैसा ये आवाज आ रही है.
Yes, sir. Now,
अच्छा, ये भी क्लियर है कि दिस इज हाउ कॉम्प्लेक्स कार्बोहाइड्रेट्स आर फॉर्म्ड. दैट्स व्हाट योर स्टार्च मॉलिक्यूल इज. इज दिस क्लियर?
Yes, sir.
बस ये सारी ऑर्गेनिक केमिस्ट्री कंप्लीट हो गई. ठीक है, वी डन विद ऑल ऑफ इट. इसके नोट्स में शेयर कर देता हूँ. तो अब अगली क्लास में विल डू पास पेपर क्वेश्चंस, ठीक है, रिलेटेड टू ऑल ऑफ दिस. ठीक है, क्लियर है?
Okay, sir.
चलिए, ओके देन, टेक केयर एवरीवन.
Love us.
Allah Hafiz, sir.